What's Gucci YouTube? It's your boy Black Gucci Hot 3 Long Face Skinny Pop D, and we are back, still black with some more fire Boruto manga related content. Now before we get into the video, you already know the dealio. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button, share the video with your friends, and let's get to the business, yes sirski.
9 mountains and 8 seas make one world. 1,000 worlds make one chiliocosm. 1 chiliocosm to the power of 3, and there's nothing I can't cut.
Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 19, definitely one for the history books. Amazing chapter all around, and artistically probably one of the greatest chapters in the Boruto series in general. You know, one of my favorite chapters personally up there. Not just like story-wise, but artistically is 2 chapters you'll probably hear me talk about time and time again. The chapter when Kashin Koji versus Jigen and Ishiki, I believe either somewhere in the 40s of Naruto Next Generations. Amazing paneling, like hands down one of the best fights in the manga. And of course, Jura versus Big Himawari Uzumaki in chapter, I believe, 10 or 11 of 2 Blue Vortex. Now that chapter specifically, the art and the paneling that Ikimoto, the direction that he decided to take in that chapter was noticeably stood out to me. And similarly so with this chapter, chapter 19, we got Sarada, you know what I'm saying? Big Uchiha vibe Sarada. Big Sage Mode Mitsuki, you feel my guy Araya out here pulling up. We got Yoda versus Ryu. And artistically, I'm not gonna cap, bro. Ikimoto took his hat off and said, they've been playing with me, bro. They've been playing with me. Now, Ryu has probably some of the best shots in the entire chapter. His Iron Sand, the way that it's portrayed, the flow, the transitioning, all of that, his attacks, and the creativity of how he utilizes his abilities, from just not attacking with the sand, using the sand as puppet strings, essentially being able to control his opponents, and turning into iron grain sand himself. It's a real lot of crazy things going on in this chapter, and overall it's an amazing chapter. Overall, hands down, not my favorite, definitely not my favorite, but artistically, I'd say it's the best chapter or the second best chapter. I would have to look at Himawari versus Jura again, but artistically, this is probably the best chapter TBV has given us, and this is an amazing start out to the fight. I love these fights when they don't end in like the next 4, 5, 6 pages. You know, so far the longest fights we had in TBV will be something like they setting up the Boruto Mitsuki fight, and then they complete it within the next chapter. So this fight has kind of even been getting set up, well, we know since the start of the arc, but like actions have been getting taken since the previous chapter, and we still see they are in the beginning of this kerfuffle going down. So overall, amazing chapter, and hands down 10 out of 10. The only gripe I will have with the chapter lies with the Konohamaru segment, and we're going to get into that, and we're not going to dive too much into it because I just want to take some time to appreciate the chapter as a whole. And for the most part, it was mostly action-packed, action-heavy, so there's not really that much to break down in terms of the actual contents of the chapter. But as opposed to, you know, some of the themes implemented and some of the progression of the story with the dialogue for certain characters. So good things. So off jump, just talk about, because we already know, no Kawaki, no Amato this chapter. We're really heavily focusing on the land of wind and where everybody is at right now with Konohamaru, Matsuri. We got Ryu, and then Team 7 and Team Shinki with no Shinki, right? They're out here, they're conducting the mission. And just to get it out the way, right, because I don't even want to dive too much into it, my guy Konohamaru sold the ball, guys. Like, that's the only, and it wasn't even the fact that he sold the ball, it was the dialogue, it was the choice, bro. You couldn't come up with anything better to get Matsuri off of your, you know what I'm saying, off of your dome, bro. Literally, she's been devouring this man the entire chapter, and we end off the chapter where they are about to become one. Now, interesting enough, like I stated, Matsuri's character is very intriguing. Now, she has a very emotional and real deep monologue in terms of arguing with Konohamaru. And then, like I said, bro, with Konohamaru's rebuttal, with his dialogue, it was just like bro, how long have you been, you making like mental choices that are getting ninja would make. Like, bro, you're a jonin, bro. She just wants to call you a certain name. Get it together. Finesse it. If you don't want her calling you the name, finesse it. Tell her you want to build a relationship to where she can call you the name. And Ada points it out. And that's why, shout out, Ada is so emotionally intelligent. And I knew that had to be another reason why she joined the Mangekyo gang. Because Big Ada talking about, it's not the fact that she can't call you Konohamaru-chan, you know what I'm saying? And she's watching this go down with her Senrigan. She's like, it's more so that the relationship isn't there to, allow her or permit her to call you Konohamaru-chan. That's the root of the problem, and Konohamaru can't see that. He's selling the ball, bro. He's really selling the ball. So Konohamaru sells. Heavily sells. So we're looking forward to it. It was brought up on the previous Cloud Ninja pod. The possibility of a shadow clone, you know what I'm saying, being utilized here would be the only saving grace for my guy. So we're going to keep our hats off and we're going to keep our eyes open until the upcoming chapter 20 until we can have more insight on how it actually goes down. But still, my guy Konohamaru definitely sold the ball this chapter. So we're holding on for some type of saving grace. But moving on, the chapter opens up with the flashback and we see how they building the dynamic with this team. Shinki, my guy Shinki, reveals how Araya was able to get this OP lodestone sealing blade, basically having Shinki's chakra applied to it in a kind of way where we understand that it's constantly going to be coated onto the sword, and then Araya can use his wind style to combine it, basically allowing him to manipulate Iron Sand to some type of degree, similar to Shinki. And then Araya's actually kind of shocked by this revelation because he's like, it's going to be sparring with Shinki much easier, and Shinki's like jokingly saying, basically, you're going to need this type of handicap. So it's revealed that obviously Yodo likes Shinki, but kind of like a soft triangle, you know what I'm saying, a little soft dynamic going on, because we understand that Araya is basically trying to get Shinki to get his mind constantly 24/7 off of Gara, buttling, basically saying, you should try to pay some attention to Yodo, similarly, because we understand how much affection and how much Yodo actually cares for Shinki. And similarly, so Shinki rebuttals and saying, you talking about all I do is talk about Gara, but all you literally do is talk about Yodo. So a really good flashback just to give us a couple of insights on the dynamic between Team Shinki and how they actually operate. And then moving on, we see a sick transition where Araya's coming through, saving the day, dispelling the Iron Sand, and it's like he's able to swing his sword and control it in a way where he can move the sand where he wants it, or he can stop the sand in place, because those are the two things that we see him conduct throughout the fight in this chapter. Now, as I said, the fight itself was amazing, and it really gave setup vibes, because by the end of this fight, we understand that the sword that Araya has will no longer be a benefactor in how they are able to freely move amongst the battlefield. So right now, all eyes, and rightfully so, are on Sarada to see how she can somehow counteract or basically become the new stepping stone that allows everybody else on the battlefield to move freely. And I'm gonna just say this, bro. Sarada and Mitsuki was really going ham. I'm not going cap, bro. I didn't think they was going to start off this early going this hard, but they was really going ham. And I'm going to be emphasizing throughout the video. The art was so crazy. One of my favorite shots, aside from just seeing the Iron Sand with Ryu, was when they're dropping all of these claw lines from the sky, right? And then finally they all are on the ground. And I saw somebody on Twitter said it looks like a Renaissance painting, one of those old paintings that they would do back in the day, where all the claw lines are just surrounded by, Araya and Yodo. Araya got his sword stuck in the claw grind's back. Ryu's coming down from the side, swiping the claw grind. You know what I'm saying? Yodo's trying to use her kunai. We just see Mitsuki in the background, just more tails and claw grinds. I'm like, bro, the dude snapped. He went crazy. And now that I'm describing all this, low-key, this might be the best chapter artistically. So I think this is the best art that Ikimoto has given us in 2 Blue Vortex medium, probably in the series, but I'm just going to say for sure in a while, this is some of the best art we have seen from Ikimoto himself. So hands down, bro, at the end of the day, Sarada and Mitsuki really did I think everybody respectively played the role. Even if, figures like Yodo was selling the ball, I'm not going to give her that much of a gripe, because someone like Konohamaru was actually able to one-up her in terms of selling the ball on the mission. But Yodo was able to play her role well enough to allow, the other ninjas to understand, okay, boom, she can hear Ryu forming this way. She can hear Ryu forming to the north, to the south, underground. So she was able to sense and pinpoint his location prior to him actually showing up. So she gave him the edge in that way. So everybody was respectively playing their roles. So a lot of build up for the Shinju was really the emphasis on this chapter. Aside from the fight, like I said, the fight was sprinkled out throughout the entire chapter. A lot of build-up moments, but amazing shots throughout the entire fight. So looking forward to talking more about how that fight will actually play out going forward into the future. But we see my guy Jura. He's building his philosophy, and it's already been shown, and it's clear what they're trying to do with this man. He's gonna be evil. He's gonna be an enemy of the shinobi, but he's doing it in such a philosophical way to the point where it's gonna be a logical type of decision-based villain. Basically saying, this plus this doesn't make sense, so I'm gonna do that regardless of the actions or the results or the consequences that it may show for you, because I know personally and overall it's gonna be the betterment for evolution. And I think we can even go as far as to say Jura might even develop this type of ideal that he cares for humans, right? But he believes that they make such stupid decisions that he's gonna take charge and probably like take control in terms of how they develop, how they evolve, and anything that goes against that type of equation can simply be eliminated. I don't think Jura is gonna build any malicious intent, right? But they're definitely playing off of this theme of love and how it affects the Shinju. We get a lot more insight on Jura and how he is essentially going to be developed moving forward into the story. And then we see with Matsuri, she's questioning all of these things, and it's something that you can definitely relate to if you yourself ever felt some type of affection for someone. But you can see it in a sense where a one-sided affection can do numbers on a person mentally and physically, and especially for someone who doesn't understand said feelings. We see that when Matsuri is literally pouring out her heart for Konohamaru in this drama that we are seeing unfolding right before her eyes, and Konohamaru doesn't know how to respond. And like I said, one of the main things that threw me off was his dialogue, because certain words can tick or trigger women if you say them at the right time. And we see, soon as he said fussy, before I even read Matsuri's line, I said, ooh, like that was not the, come on, my guy Konohamaru. And it made sense because she's calling him a hypocrite, basically saying, you are calling me fussy because I can't call you that. But can't I just call you fussy? Because why is the big deal if I even call you that? Because you're the one who don't want me to call you that in the first place. So she's like, you know what? Let's agree to disagree. How about we just become one, right? Right. And I really like the questioning that Matsuri has. She's like, I can't stop thinking about you. Why do I have these feelings? And once she understood, right, because at first meeting Konohamaru, it was one of those lovey-dovey, all blushy things, but understanding that just because you have those feelings doesn't mean it's going to be reciprocated. That realization basically brought up some type of pain in her, and it constantly, increased her anger. And she's trying to understand, why does she feel like this? And she doesn't need to feel like this. It would have been better off she didn't have any thoughts about Konohamaru. So how about she just devour him, and essentially all of these feelings will go away. So will they be using Konohamaru as the gateway to allow us to see what will occur when the Shinju devours their target? It's going to be interesting enough to say, but still, the realization of these feelings and emotion, I want to see them explored more in the Matsuri character. So stay tuned, definitely, because we're going to have to talk and dive deeper into that aspect of the character and the dynamics between both of them. So overall, amazing chapter. I would say a 9 out of 10 of a chapter. A lot of stuff to talk about in terms of the Shinju. A lot of stuff to look forward to, especially in terms of Kawaki, in terms of Boruto. And we see how Kashin Koji gave us a little couple of hints, because previous chapters he's saying, you absolutely cannot show up to this battlefield. Jura will kill you. And now we see where Boruto is hesitating, or he's trying to fight back his urges to pop up. And Kashin Koji is just saying, now is not the right time, alluding to a time will be perfect for Boruto to pop up. So I'm looking forward to how a lot of these different dynamics are explored moving forward. And then we're ending off the volume with chapter 20. So I'm not gonna lie to y'all, bro. I'm trying to see more of this Matsuri dynamic. I want to see more of her. And I told y'all, I called it. I'm saying, bro, she's gonna have a little important role, right? Because as we see Jura's talking, and we can see how they're paralleling it towards the actual live reactions and live actions that are currently going down between Matsuri and Konohamaru, because we understand how these quote-unquote emotions or feelings of love is affecting Matsuri and her decision making, because at the end of the day, Konohamaru was her target. She should have devoured him upon meeting him, right? But she succumbed to these emotions that her brain was telling her, and then she allowed these emotions to affect her decision making. And ultimately, once she sees that she can't get what she wants, everything deravels and everything everything falls apart. And it shows how she is basically trying to tackle or handle rejection of love, the rejection of her feelings, and she doesn't truly understand, let alone how to handle it, but also what those feelings are in the first place, whether it be if Konohamaru reciprocated those feelings or not. She got to understand how to control those emotions, and that's where we see where Jura says once they learn this aspect of love, they're gonna have to overcome it. So trial and error, essentially we got Konohamaru and Matsuri being that trial and error, whether we be Konohamaru being the first person to show us what it's like for a Shinju to devour their target, or Matsuri showing us to be the first Shinju of what it's like to retrieve that Son Throw bulb and give it back to the original wielder who is trapped, laying dormant inside the tree, who we know is Moegi. But all in all, Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 19 was actually amazing. 9 out of 10 chapter. My guy Konohamaru has to step it up. But Ikimoto was cooking with the art. So let me know how y'all feel about the chapter moving forward. And stay tuned. It's your boy Black Chia. Holla at your boy. I'ma holla at y'all. Black Chia out. Yes, sir. Ski.